After your painting is complete, you're ready to start adding your circles. We will be using a combination of colored construction paper and some kind of rejected projects and old placemats and even some examples I've created to create lots of really cool different looking circles. If your paint is still wet today when you're adding your circles, that's totally fine. Try and work in the dry areas first, and if you do come to the wet area and are ready to glue on it, just be extra careful so not to smear the paint, but most likely we'll work on the cutting and gluing for more than one art class together, so don't worry. When you start selecting paper to cut your circles out of, try and pick colors that are different from what you have for your background. So if you choose orange and put it on top of orange, it doesn't show up as nicely as if you were to put it maybe over top of blue or something like that. When you create your circles, you can either hand draw them, or there will be a variety of lids that you can use to trace around. Please do at least 2 circles in all of your spaces. Some you can do more, so this one I even added a really little one there on top, just to give you an idea. So the more variety, the more interesting it is to look at. Try and use as much of your paper as possible. So for example, I took and I traced 3 circles on here. And then when you go to cut, to save yourself some time, if you layer up the paper, so say I want 2 circles this size, if you very tightly hold them together while you cut, you'll end up with 2 circles and saved time. So remember when you're cutting that our paper hand does the turning and our scissors just kind of open and close. So most of the movement happens with the hand holding the paper. Cut nice and slow so your circles aren't too choppy. Really take your time on that part because it's going to make a huge difference on the appearance of your project. When you have a little pile of circles cut out, start gluing them to your paper. Remember to glue on colors that are not matching. So, for example, don't put red on top of red because it doesn't show up very well. And then remember, you can also go without a stencil if you like the kind of character you get when your circle is not absolutely perfect, like these ones are. Remember when you use glue, just to use small dots. These glue bottles, the glue comes out extremely fast, so you don't need to squeeze really at all. Just add some dots around your edge and carefully press it down so you're not gushing glue everywhere. And just continue this until you have all your circles glued on. You may want to every now and then rub on the back of your paper to really get those circles pressed down flat, especially if you used areas with heavier paper, like this paper is much heavier than the construction paper and it likes to kind of fold up. At cleanup time, be sure to write your name on pieces that you intend to use next time and put them in your table folder. And then sort out the scraps from the good pieces that you could still use to cut circles out of. So these go in the trash and these go right back in the box. And then your project goes on the drying rack.